Hi, Brad.
Hi, Laura.
What feels most important for us to focus on today?
Well, I have been recently diagnosed with a health condition that has kind of rocked my world a little bit. And I think it's connected to my lifestyle in terms of busyness and things like that. And so, anyway, it's just really got me kind of reevaluating life and um, some of the pace that I go and things like that. So I recently I've had high blood pressure. I've had like probably about a year and a half of just like different health issues arise where I've had inflammation in my body and I haven't been able to like lift my shoulders up and things like that. At one point I could hardly get out of bed, and that apparently has come from burnout, which is like adrenal fatigue. And I've basically run myself so ragged that my body's just starting to say no more. I can't produce cortisol, which helps with adrenaline and things like that. And so, yeah, so that's been really hard, and that's been about a year ago. I started experiencing that. And then just recently, so my blood pressure's been high from, I think, the pace that I've been going. And I also went through a season of just drinking too much, and I think that didn't help either. Um, and then I just went to the cardiologist probably about a month ago, and they said that I have something called a aortic aneurysm, where basically my aortic valve, which I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it feeds the aortic valve feeds blood to your entire body,
Yes.
and it's dilated and expanded, and so it's like at a certain number right now, and if it gets to a higher number, it's at like a 4 centimeter thing right now, or I think it's centimeters. And if it gets to 5 to 5.5, then it can either burst, or you definitely have to have open heart surgery at that point. So long, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to get to the point of it here. I have to kind of live a life where I manage it from dilating further. So I working out and lifting weights and exercise has been honestly like the best way for me to deal with stress and process through it. But
Hmm.
now I can't do that as much anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
I can a little bit, and I'm kind of trying to figure that out. Like, what does this actually mean? There's differing opinions, but it's really about managing it and making
Okay.
sure that it doesn't dilate further. It's inevitable unless there's some miracle invention in the cardiac industry that it's inevitable that I'll have open heart surgery in the next few years. It's just kind of a matter of when at this point.
Okay.
So yeah, that's been, obviously a big thing I've been trying to process through and figure out. And I'm a pretty
Yes.
active guy, and not being able, it's like, still dealing with a lot of stress, but now it feels really hard to process through the stress, I guess, and find an outlet,
Yes.
because that's what I used to do. So there's still some things I can do. Like I can still, my heart rate basically just has to kind of like max at like 140, 130 to 140 range. And so it's just everything's more moderate. And I don't like that. I'm kind of an all-in guy in everything I do. So I also just feel like it's kind of like felt like a strange um I don't know. It doesn't feel like a masculine thing, but it just feels like I just feel limited. I feel a little trapped inside my own body or something. And it does feel like there's some identity connected to it too. Like I'm a guy
Hmm.
that likes to swing around heavy kettlebells and do CrossFit type stuff,
Yes.
and that's like one of the worst things to do. So I'm trying to navigate through how do I handle how do I walk through this and form new habits, but then also I think the other part of it is there's just things in my life that I'm recognizing need to slow down or maybe altogether go away that are causing stress, but everything feels really important. So I don't know what to eliminate in my life.
Oh, it
Um,
really has rocked your world. I mean,
yeah,
you have been thrown for a loop.
yeah,
It
it
sounds,
has. Yeah, it has.
yes.
It's been a really, there's two sides to it. There's the physical part of it. And then, like you said, I think maybe more than anything, the emotional side of it has kind of rocked my world. So just trying to like process through
Mm,
the, mentally, like,
yes.
okay, and I think that thing that I try to do, everything, people just say everything Brad does is like all in. And that's true. I go all in. So learning how to live a life where moderation and just do your best and forget the rest kind of mindset, like
Mm.
is that's maybe one of the hardest parts about it for me is just being able to accept like I'm just gonna do a little bit of exercise and then I'm gonna be done for the day.
So it sounds like your identity was sort of wrapped up in this aspect of you that is kind of an all-in kind of person,
mm,
and now you're feeling trapped by these constraints that your body is placing upon you.
yeah, it's an interesting way to think about it. I would say the identity piece for me is maybe um, the things that the results I get to by going all in, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, like for instance, being a strong man um, requires going all in and lifting weights and doing that stuff, but the result of it is what feels like my identity. And so,
Hmm.
being a man without big muscles, being a guy that goes to the gym and works out next to a 60-year-old and our workouts look similar, you know, feels it just feels weak to me. I think it feels weak. And I think that's part of it is like I want to be capable. I think that's part of my identity is I'm just a capable person. I want to know that I'm one of the stronger people in the room when it comes to like protection, when it comes to probably even just like my own insecurities, like it just feels good to know that I've got that edge. Feels good to know that I know how to handle myself in a situation that I might need to. And I also like that my kids and my wife would probably look at me like that too. And so embracing, I guess, the reality that I'm my mortality, embracing the reality of my aging, and I'm in my 40s and I think I'm kind of in that midlife crisis age. So all of it's kind of hitting at once where it's like I'm just not the spring chicken that I used to be. And it's
Right.
been and then yeah, and then I think there's like I've told my wife, I would almost rather if you were to say like, hey, you have to take 10 years of your life are going to be taken off, but you can work out and live your life however you want. I'd almost rather have that than have those other 10 years and to feel so limited in what I do, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. It sounds like these things that you're now limited on, it has made you feel like you can't do some of the things that are part of who you are as a
Right.
person. You're having to alter,
Right. No, that's
alter.
that's exactly it. It's like I can't, yeah, it's not like you can't do this. It's like you can't be who you are.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
altering your identity in a way. You're having to alter the expression of who you are.
Yes. Yes. It's definitely deeper than just the prognosis or just the change in the gym or and that's the other thing too that the this is another identity piece I think that's being kind of threatened for me is like um I have to choose a slower pace of life because this aortic valve also expands with high blood pressure or stress. or stress causes a higher blood pressure and things like that. And so the doctor said that stress is another
Mhm.
factor. Um, and I think this is so there's kind of the physical side of it that is really
Right.
hard, but then there's
Mhm.
also this like other side that feels like oh, just like my job as a pastor, the church that I work out is a recovery church. So we have a lot of people that are getting, inmates that are now getting out of prison and they come to our church and they're on parole and all this stuff. But they're, it's a stressful job. I've got a,
Right.
just yesterday, there was a girl that was, or this was Sunday, she was getting ready to jump off a bridge. And so we just deal a lot
Ooh,
with like recovery and things like that. And so the job in itself, while I know it's really preparing me for my LPC and therapy and
yes.
things like that, it
Mhm.
also in a church setting times up, at the end of a session when you say, well, time's up, that doesn't really work in the church. Like they have my cell phone,
Oh,
I just kind of like on all the time, like on the clock all the time. And I've tried to establish some boundaries, but it's a lot different than the counseling, like therapy world. And
sounds like it.
it is, yeah. And then um and then just like I have 5 kids and
Wow.
they're like ages 11 to 21, so there's just a lot going. One of them, like yours, is a senior in high
Okay.
school, and it's just like a lot going on. And then my wife works full time at a pretty demanding job. She's a recruiter,
Okay.
like for doctors and stuff like that, and so she is gone often, and I've got the kiddos. My job's a little bit more, it's intense, but it's also more flexible. So I can like, I'll usually pick them up from school and stuff like that. So I just feel like oh, and I'm coaching and going to school. So I'm
Oh my
coaching, I'm going to
goodness.
school,
Yes.
and coaching is very part-time, but it's supplemental income that we need. And then school. So it just, I have placed myself in all of these roles. So I don't see myself as a victim to them, but I do see myself as like someone that has to um, keep these things juggling. So I'm just trying to figure out, what do I take off my plate? I can't take my kids off my plate, but there are some
Right.
things that I could there are some things
It's,
that I can maybe try to figure out.
it sounds like
Um,
you need to make some changes
yeah,
to take care of your body because your
yeah,
body has these requirements that you can't get around. And and so you've got to look at all the things and make a decision as to what you need to change in order to take care of yourself.
yes, yeah. That's exactly right. Um, I'm becoming painfully aware of these
Mhm.
things, and I recently had I'm a part of a Townsend leadership program, and so it's a cohort of people that kind of walk with you in life, and it's
Oh,
therapeutic, but it's also leadership oriented, and we
mm-hmm.
practice all the relational nutrients and things like that. And one of the things that they were telling me last week or this week, yeah, Monday, was
Mm-hmm.
just to focus on inputs and outputs. And, like I think I give a lot to outputs, but I don't have a lot of inputs.
Right.
And the well kind of runs dry when it's not being filled up. So,
As you've thought about that, what has felt to you like it would be a worthy or a good input for you? What would be?
mm, yeah. Well, I would have said working out, exercise. But that's kind of like, it looks a lot different now. I think, the thing I've got this Whoop band that kind of tells me about like my sleep and all that it's made me more aware of how I'm
Mhm.
doing, like my recovery and my sleep and things like that. And one of the things that I've really been like craving, I can just feel my body just craving, is like more nights at home. where
Hmm.
I can just like relax and maybe watch TV or just kind of hang out with the family and stuff like that. And just be more at home and
Mhm.
not have anything going on. Feels like a place for me right now where I really kind of find recovery. Um, that's one of them. I also think um, like golf and I enjoy golf and pickleball and some sports like that that I like to play with other people. So being able to, I can still do some of that stuff, which is great.
Mhm.
But creating space to where I can actually go out and just get away for a little bit. I also like to hunt. And so, yeah, I think just creating space for those kinds of things that
Mhm.
feels like it's got an element of competition, which I really like, and I'm still moving my body. I'm out in nature,
Mhm.
outside. Um,
Right.
so I think creating that space is really helpful. And then I guess this isn't really an input, but this is like a protection from too many outputs is just like learning to use that full sentence of no and setting boundaries. At even at church, like with my boss and some people like that. So yeah, I think those are probably some things that I could start implementing effective immediately. My wife is supportive of me doing those things too. She's great, so that helps as
Well,
well.
that's really nice. So the two main things I'm hearing you say, one is creating more time at home or more downtime or more time doing things you enjoy. And then
Hmm.
the other thing is protecting your boundaries as
Hmm.
far as what you can output, because you're talking about all these
Yeah,
outputs.
yeah. It's almost like one is like being more on the offensive and doing things. The other is like sort of protecting me from doing too much. Yeah, that's good clarity. That's kind of where I'm at. Those are the steps that I'm needing to take, and they're hard because they're it's a lot of it's habit forming, and
Yes.
habits just take time to form, and
Yes.
getting rid of an old lifestyle. And even like tonight, we live in Fort Worth, and there's this restaurant called Joe T. Garcia's that has like these awesome margaritas. And we're going out with some friends tonight. And it's like, I know everybody's going to be drinking and hanging out. And it's like, I
Mhm.
probably shouldn't be drinking, or at least not very much if I do.
Mhm.
So that's like another little thing that's like I'm thankful for it because especially a couple years ago, I would say I had an alcohol problem. Um,
Okay.
but now, I'm living in moderation. I barely drink. But when I go out socially, like tonight, it's hard, and their margaritas are so good. So it's been hard. So
Yes.
just trying to like that's like just an example of one of the
Right.
little protections I need to build around myself to stay healthy.
Yeah, they're just a lot of changes, and
Hmm.
I can see how that would feel overwhelming and like, where do I start kind of
It
thing.
does. Yeah, it does. It feels like when I look at it on paper, I'm like, that's not that hard to make some of these changes and to even find like contentment in my newly formed workouts and stuff. But when I'm doing them and I'm out and about trying to actually implement them, it feels a lot harder than than what's on paper. It's like just changing in general is
Yes.
is a challenge.
I mean, it sounds like you've just never had to have these kinds of limitations. You've been able to live your life big,
Yeah.
all in, as you say,
Mhm.
and that is it's a kind of a hard reality to have to face. That.
Yeah, yeah, it totally is. Yeah, it's exactly right. And I think again, it kind of comes down to this piece for me that like there's an acceptance in finding acceptance in my aging. Um, and I know I'm not
Hmm.
like old, but it just like I am getting older and I haven't had to face this like you said, it's like the first time I feel like I've had to face some of this stuff. And it's interesting, it's I feel I think what I feel about it is just sad. I just feel sad. Like I feel like there's a loss and I feel sad. And I
Yeah.
even got a tattoo that was like kind of trying to like embrace my mortality, but
Oh yeah, look at
it says
that.
no one makes it out alive. And people like look at that, they're like, gosh, it's so depressing. But I have the skulls actually smiling. Um, because I think that aging and mortality is just part of life. And I want to be able to look at it with a smile on my face rather than fighting against it. And I have hope in my eternal future as well.
Hmm.
I have my faith and I in what I believe but I want that tattoo to be more real for me. I want it to be something I'm actually experiencing. So it's kind of like a goal in a way to
Oh,
smile
I
at
see.
mortality.
Right.
Um, but yeah, yeah, that's kind of where
Maybe it
it's
sounds
kind
like
of where
you're
I'm
just
at.
giving it some thought about how to process it because it
Hmm.
is sad, it is grief, it is letting go.
Hmm.
And I think it's okay to feel that, even though I know you have this idea that you want to embrace it as well. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's exactly it.
I just well, we're getting to the end of the session, and
Hmm.
so I want to just kind of recap the main themes that we talked about, and
Okay.
then invite you to decide what you'd like to think about for this next week and
Okay.
process.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would say the two things that we talked about were making more time for you to, you called it downtime, but you
Hmm.
described a lot of things. And then
Hmm.
also creating boundaries um,
Hmm.
around some of the things that are eating into your time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and so what would you like to pay attention to this next week?
Yeah. I think being able to, I think boundaries is probably the first one for me. Like
Hmm.
being able to kind of stave off all the needs that people have that aren't essential, that aren't part of like maybe my calling right now.
Okay.
And having some clarity around what those things are, and then being able to say no when I need to say no.
I think I agree with you. I think that's a good start. Just paying attention as you go throughout the week
Hmm.
and just like nothing required, just notice
Mm.
which things seem to be, really crossing over some clear
Yes.
boundaries, and
Yeah.
then it's good because you can take the whole week to just be in a mode of noticing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That feels like the first step. That feels
right.
like the necessary first step. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can
Yeah.
kind of sort of process it after,
Hmm.
next week when we come back together, we can kind of talk about what you noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds great to me.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Brad.
Yeah. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate it. Okay. And cut.
Good.
But also that was great. That was really good. I had this feeling as we were talking, like I'm joking as I say this, but I was really like, yeah, let's actually meet and talk more because you were you were like opening some thoughts up in my mind with some of your questions and statements of like, I think that is a really great next step is just to have like this crystal clarity around what I don't need to be holding
Hmm.
right now in my life. So how did you feel like everything went?
I wanted so bad to tell you that I relate so much, and I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
can I say that? Because am a fitness instructor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a real big part of my identity. Being
Mm-hmm.
strong and
Yeah.
um, going all in is another thing that I really identify with.
Yes.
I totally understand it and I do it.
Yeah.
So the things that you're saying to me, yeah, it really resonated.
Yeah.
And
I don't I think if you would have said that, like I don't know what the rules are with this, but I could tell you
right.
like if you would have shared that, I think just as a client, I would have received that for sure. It would have
Yeah.
helped with some identification. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are here with
I know.
with
I
all
think
that.
it's so hard sometimes because we're trying so hard to just meet, do the things that we're being taught. And that's
Right.
something naturally I would have done that. I would have said, "Oh my gosh, I really
Yeah.
relate to this." And I don't want
Yeah.
to make it
Yeah.
about me, but it
Right.
resonates with me.
Well, identification brings a bond and a trust, I think, or it can
Yes.
bring a trust. So it's like a law of mutual disclosure or something like that. It's like
Right.
I share that, then you
Yeah.
share it. It's like now I feel even more comfortable. So,
Yeah. Because I understand how identity gets wrapped around that. And
oh yeah,
it's really hard
yeah,
to alter your identity because to take care of your body when you're just so used to having your body be
right,
you
right.
know the thing
It's
that
a
you
big
can
part of
use
it.
to just do do all these things.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Well, as far as like how you did. I thought you did a great job. I felt like you were very present with me. You had a lot of really great minimal encouragers along the way that, like the shaking of the head and the
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And I felt like you were right there with me. I felt like I was in kind of my feeling, or like I was able to just like be in my feelings the
Hmm.
whole way through. Like there
Hmm.
wasn't a point where I was like, oh, I mean, maybe at the end when we were kind of thinking through like
Yes. Hmm.
what's next, but I was just going. Like I was, and I hope I didn't talk like too much to where you didn't have a chance, but you provided an environment that just felt really easy to just kind of spill my guts about everything. So great job on that. I did feel understood. I thought you asked some really great questions that you didn't ask any question, like you didn't do any feeling, what is it called, responses that were like off or I didn't
Okay.
resonate with, so I was right there with you. There was a couple, like second half of our time you had asked a couple questions, or you kind of put two, like there's this and then there's this. I think we said there was the um you prompted me to say, like, to think of it like there's the offensive and the defensive part of how I relate to this. Like the offensive part is go find things to do. The defensive part is like protect yourself from the boundaries, or with boundaries.
Hmm.
And there was something you had said that kind of prompted that thought in my head. So I thought that was really, it helped me to have that clarity.
Hmm.
um, you just have a good demeanor, like when you're talking, like you just feel warm, and it just felt like you cared, like you weren't like doing an assignment, even with this. And I know this is kind of a heavier topic, so you did a great job of staying connected. I really didn't think there was anything that was not facilitative. I really liked how you gave me the little warning that the session's coming to a close. That kind of
Hmm.
put me back into the right time frame of where I
Hmm.
was, and that
Okay.
I started thinking about like wrapping up and okay, but it didn't feel rude or anything like that. And I thought we identified the problem along with the solution. And you said the solution in a positive way. It didn't feel like discouraging at all. It felt like
Hmm.
hopeful. So I thought you did great. I
That's
honestly
awesome.
don't have anything negative to share.
That's
And I mean
awesome.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought you did a really good job.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, hearing you talk about it, I felt inside a little bit afraid because um, I wanted to be there for you in a situation that I haven't experienced before, and
Hmm.
I know how intense these kinds of health things can be.
Hmm.
So I wanted
You're an
to make
empathizer, aren't you?
yes,
You, yeah. I mean
yeah,
that statement tells me. that you're probably really good at empathy, um,
Hmm.
because it was hard for you when you hadn't felt that before to go, okay, how do I connect here or whatever.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm right in there with you because, and I think, I mean, I know enough about it to know how hard that is for people. And I've
Hmm.
had, not others, not significant health things, but in my life, have had a few, and I know it's like when you said trapped in your body, that made so much
Mm.
sense. It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, great job. That was actually like legitimately helpful. So thank you for
Awesome. I'm
for
really
that.
glad. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I know you've
Okay.
got to get on to picking up your daughter. Was it your daughter?
Yeah, well, I got a ride for her, but now we're
Oh,
going out with
yay.
some friends tonight to, yeah,
Okay.
to
Well, just
Temptation Island.
get
So
like a I always get when I don't want to drink, I'll get like the like non-alcoholic version.
yeah, yeah, that's a good
That
call. I even thought
helps.
about just like get one light beer and then call it good, and
Yeah, so you
it's
can
better
kind of
than the marks.
participate, but it
That's
doesn't.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Play the part. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, thank you so much, Laura. It's been
Yeah.
great getting to
Good
spend
luck
time
with
with you.
everything. I wish you the
Thank you.
best.
Yeah, same to you.
Okay.
Hopefully we can run into each other in another class.
I would love to. Okay.
Okay. All right. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.